Hey there, this is Prentice, and a few videos ago we went over some tips of the hinge. If you think about your fundamental movement patterns, you can either squat, your hips and with a squat, your hips and knees are moving relatively at the same rate. With a hinge, you're moving primarily around your hip. And this is the posture that you get into when you pick things up from the ground. So let's review a couple of tips, and then I'll show you a kettlebell swing. So with the hinge, always go back to our kinetic chain checkpoints, feet pointing straight ahead. Now, the knees are stacked over the feet. We don't want knock knees, and we don't want to have duck feet. Okay, so feet are pointing straight ahead. Your hips and your pelvis, let's add that in there too. So let's think about your pelvis as a basin. You're going to tilt and imagine that it's full of water. Pour all of the water out the front, pour the water out the back, then find some place in neutral. That's kind of where you want your pelvis to be when you're doing many athletic activities. Brace your abs. Imagine that you're getting tapped on your tummy from a punch. Now, your shoulders are neither rounded nor super retracted. Bring them into neutral. And your head, this little spot behind your ear is going to stack up over the shoulders. So going forward, whenever I reference checkpoints, that is what I mean. So when we get over let's do this from the side. So when we get over whatever it is we're picking up, I have a kettlebell here because you can see I'm training in my garage, but it can be any implement. I'm going to stand with this between my feet, and I'm going to sit my rear end back as if I'm trying to touch a wall. The spine is straight. So remember those kinetic chain checkpoints. The only thing that we're going to do differently is move our neck into slight hyperextension. So instead of looking at the floor here, I'm going to look up. Get down, brace the abs, push through the feet, and stand straight up. So as I'm looking up, I'm looking at a level equal to my height. I'm going to sit back, push my rear end out against that imaginary wall, and let my neck extend slightly. Okay, let's see that from the front. So my head's not looking down. Now as I'm standing up, I'm imagining that I'm stomping the feet through the floor as if I'm trying to jump up. Okay, so let's make this a little more dynamic and do a kettlebell swing. So with the deadlift, the technique that we just did, the bell started between the feet. With the swing, I'm going to get that bell out in front of the toes a little bit. Now, if you're a beginner, and this is kind of geared for beginners, chop your hips back, push straight back and fold. Still imagine that you're pushing that rear end out against the wall. And once we get into our deadlift position, we're going to reach out and grab that kettlebell. So the bell isn't that far away from us that it pulls us off the base. We're able to sit in a nice solid base. Now, what we're going to do is pull that bell through the legs and stand up to attention. So a couple of things here. I'm going to add a couple of new checkpoints. As we stand up, you should be able to draw a straight line from the outer part of the heel all the way up until the armpit. From the bottom of the bell all the way into the arm, all the way into the shoulder, it should be another straight line. So the bottom of the bell isn't pointing down, it isn't pointing up. Ideally, the arms are straight. I have stuff in my elbow, so I'm not going to be able to give you a straight elbow until I get that repaired. Okay? And another thing that I'm doing is on that backswing, taking a nice solid inhale and exhaling and standing up. And when I stand up, it's important, it's advantageous for your health to create a brace. Brace those abs, brace those glutes, okay? Using our anti-gravity muscles. So let's do a few reps of the swing. Okay, so that's more dynamic hinge, the kettlebell swing. Start with that, get really good at it. When you are good, then you can do, I'll give you one variation, and that is the single arm swing. Because in future videos, you're going to learn cleans and snatches, so you want to have a really good single arm swing to help you get into position for those other lifts, the swings that end at the shoulder, swings that end up above the head. The only thing I'm going to change is as I swing with one arm, that bell wants to pull me, the momentum of the bell wants to pull me here. So I really have to brace the abs to prevent that rotation. Okay, so everything stays the same. Going to hinge, get down into that end range of the hinge position. Then I'm going to grab the bell with two hands like I did before. Now, my left hand is going to be free here. I'm just going to keep it to the side of the kettlebell. As you advance, you can put it wherever you feel comfortable, but for right now, this will do. Back swing. Okay, notice with my free hand, I'm doing the back swing, except now I'm allowing that arm to go to the outside of the body, just for space, safety. And standing up. I'm not letting the bell pull me off my base and making me rotate. And I'm coming up into what we call the lockout position, making sure, again, that straight line, I have to create that straight line from my heel into the armpit, and also from the bottom of the bell into the armpit. So don't go too fast with this right away. Make sure that you have a very good deadlift, that you can do several exercises from the hinge position, like being able to do a single leg deadlift. Make sure that your deadlift pattern is on. Make sure that you have a good plank. The plank is slow and you can hold that, but if your plank is weak, you won't be able to access that when you get into the lockout position. And as far as volume, when you're starting out, just keep it a few sets, 5 to 10 repetitions. And as you advance, then you can add more volume to your training. If you're a beginner, keep it at sets of 10. Play with the rest period. play with the rest periods, and then once you feel comfortable with that, you can progress. That's it for now. Train smart. If you like this, please leave a comment below. Also in your comments, leave a comment about exercises you'd like to see in the future. Also, if you're new, please go ahead and subscribe to the page. And you can find me at Twitter at Coach_P Rhodes, and on Facebook at Prentice Rhodes Coaching, and also Functional Fitness Over 40. So take care, train smart, see you soon.